Hello again. This is the second part of the how to get a Singer 201 back up and pairing again. Yesterday I showed you the different different types of 201s, and today what I'm going to be doing is showing you how to clean the machine thoroughly, and basically I mean the internal parts of the machine. And then we'll do the external part later. Now the whole thing about these machines is that when they were initially bought by the original owner, these machines were very expensive, and they basically a lot of them was done on hire purchase. But the thing is that the person who bought it would have really looked after the machine, and basically going through the manual that accompanies the machine. And the thing about them is that it gives very clear instructions on how to use it and how to oil it in particular. So the thing is that they are in very good condition, and most likely they were sent off for service at the local Singer shop. So when they were first bought, they were looked after very well because they were expensive. It then gets passed on to maybe a relative or sold on, and then the next person uses it, and hopefully they too look after it. Now the whole thing about this is then what happens to that machine. Well, then it doesn't really get used very much. Person doesn't really have the time. They put the machine into storage, or they could put it into the garage, which is the worst place you can put a sewing machine. And as the years goes on, they want to clear out and they get rid of the sewing machine. And the whole thing about this is that basically that machine is still in a very good condition, even though it's most likely dried out, or the oil's dried out. It may be feeling a bit stiff, it may be even seized, but the thing is that there may be very little wear on it, and all it needs is just kicking back into life, and basically a bit of TLC will do that. Now if you look at the YouTube sites, they seem to go in hammer for leather, stripping this out, taking that out, and really you've got to assess the machine of what it's like when it comes to you. So we'll be doing that in a minute, overall assessment, and then take it on. So this is basically my kit. Unfortunately I moved into this new property about 7 weeks ago, and 2 lots of my screwdrivers have disappeared and I cannot find them, so I've bought a new lot just to show you what I normally use. And the annoying thing is that the other set of screwdrivers, I ground down some of the bits to fit exclusively on the 2012 worm gear on the motor, so I'm going to have to do that again to get an absolute perfect fit. Now you're advised on YouTube to buy some very expensive gun screwdrivers. Now this is one set, which is Rolson, and this is £8 from Sainsbury's, and basically you have a very good set of flat-headed screwdrivers which are hollow ground, which means that they pretty much fit into the screw head absolutely perfectly, and I'll show you that in a minute. So all you do, take that out, make sure you got the right one, and it fits in perfectly. Now the gun ones are obviously a lot better quality. They do some clever things like breaking off if you put too much torque on, things like that. Those sort of screwdrivers are really nice to have, but they are incredibly expensive. But all you need these for is for basically a sewing machine. So the thing is that you don't have to spend a small fortune on screwdrivers. They do a smaller pack of this, which is about this size, in the same colours, and they're about £7.99, but you still get the full set of flatheads. This is a Magnuson one. This came out of B&Q. You've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 screwdriver heads there, but you've also got the little ratchet which you sometimes see on those gun ones, and it's basically the same principle. Pop it in and you've got a little ratcheted screwdriver, very handy for certain things. Now if I put these to one side, oh, and also what you can do, you've got a little extension bar, so that does the trick as well. So they were £10 from B&Q, they were £8 from Sainsbury's, and you can also get those on Amazon as well. These are absolutely fine. I did have a full set of these, but I gave one to my son because I had the other set, and he's gone off with my set, and unfortunately because I've lost the other ones, then I wish I kept it. The other thing I use is small jeweller's one. I had these, but they've disappeared as well, and I'll show you how I use basically the large one. You need that one, and I'll show you why. This is basically what you get with your kit with on a sewing machine on the 201. They're absolutely fine. This is pretty basic, and it will just allow you to do certain jobs like cleaning around the dogs and things like that. This one is particularly particularly good because you use that on the for cleaning the hook area out and removing the bobbin case, and I'll show you about that. But you need, if you haven't got that, and if I can just find the number, which is 120378 will be printed on it, you definitely need that. But a 2.4 jewellers will do. That will just about the same size. So you would need one of those to actually remove that. But there is a warning with that, and I'll show you later. So that's the Singer one, and these are a little bit of extra, and I'll show you how I use that one. Let's put those on the side. Cleaning, I use kerosene. That's what Singer advises anyway. Kerosene's pretty yucky stuff really. It should be in a well ventilated area, out in the garage or out in a shed, something like that. Not really to be done inside because it stinks. It's a hydrocarbon and needs to be treated with respect, and it goes everywhere, absolutely everywhere, when you use it with toothbrushes and things like that. So you only need a little bit of kerosene. That's more than enough for this particular machine. Unfortunately, I can't find anything smaller than 4 litres in this country of kerosene, and I wasn't going to bring that in because it's inside the house. in America, I do know you can get a litre can in a blue can online, but you must use kerosene. I wouldn't recommend anything else. The reason for that is that with oil, these two are fully compatible. So if I was to put oil into kerosene, you get an oily kerosene. If I put kerosene or paraffin, as we call it here, into oil, I'll get a thin down oil. The kerosene paraffin will strip all the oil out, all the gumming up. This is a presser bar, and as you can see here, this is where the build-up of oil happens. This is known as gumming up, and basically it will slow the machine down, and sometimes it can actually freeze the machine down. You go in with the kerosene, which I call the kerosene scrub, and that will hopefully free up your machine because it just melts this away beautifully. And then what happens is that when you've cleaned the machine and you've let it drip overnight, you go in with the oil the next day, it tracks down where the kerosene has been, so it goes in very, very deep into the machine, goes in all the little nooks and crannies, just where you want it to go, and you can feel the machine freeing up, even though you shouldn't really use it because the oil has been thinned down. But what you do go for is an early oiling and bring the strength of the oil back up to what it should be. So I'll just clear this. These are cleaning brushes, toothbrushes, and I've got a brass wire brush for gently cleaning the pitman lines, not to scratch them, but just to gently clean off all the gunk, all the crud, so that you can then go in and give it a wash with the kerosene, and then also a bit of a pan scrub, which you can also use. So I'll just clear this away very quickly. And we'll move on to one other thing that holy is this one. Very, very lucky to get it. This is a set of Singer's screwdrivers. I was so lucky to get these. These are the ones that the tech guys at Singer would have used to service the machines, and these would have been handed out. These are absolutely perfect for the job. I got these about 3 years ago, and I've just used them all the time. They are very, very good for about 90% of the screws and bolts and things like that. But the thing is that then they don't go down far enough. But I'll show you on the machine how well they fit. And these are not taper ground. These are just ordinary flat-headed screwdrivers, and they are a joy to use. I thought I'd just show you those because they are, you don't see those every day. Right. And if I show you this, I'll show you in a minute because I need to remove that, which I'll do. So you get your machine home and you've just bought it somewhere, or you just had it delivered somewhere. Now, first thing you obviously do is you start turning. Now, if you find that you go so far and it sticks or it locks up, don't force it, because you'll do damage in the machine. It's locked up for a reason. So what I do in that case is I'll be removing the hand crank, grasp the hand wheel like that and just turn. Now if it's locked up and it's frozen, your fingers will skid, so you're not forcing anything. So basically what I would do is just gently see what's happening with that machine. Why is it frozen up and why is it not working? You know, why is it suddenly freezing on one spot? So it's a sort of like a safety measure that you're not putting any force within the machine or going to break anything. So your hand will just slip round because you're not gripping it that hard. But you see, I can do that because it's nice and free and everything. Anything that's frozen, it will stop me and I just skid off. So if I skid off and it feels too you know, obviously frozen, then I've got to look within the machine as to the problem. So that's just a tip really. So the other thing you do, or I do anyway, is see if it sews. If it sews beautifully, why do you have to start, you know, pulling it apart from certain areas? So I'll show you how to thread, and it's another thing to show you. So pop it on the top, because what I'm trying to do is show people who've got no experience at all. This is their first machine, they go out and buy a 201. I'm going to use, you know, I want a 201, I want to use it, I've heard all about them, I'll get myself a 201. So I'm just showing you all from absolute basics, and then we'll go a bit further. So thread comes out front ways, you pull about so far across, that goes into the top there, put your thumb on, at the back there you raise the presser bar up, you put that thread through the two discs, and you also make sure, and the thing about this, I'll be doing still photographs and putting it on the Facebook page to show you just how it should go. You've got a little spring there, and that is just there is its little holder, so it sits there. So if it's below, it's not correct, so it's there. Keeping the thumb on, just bring your thread upwards and back down, and then your spring will put a bit of pressure on that thread. Wind your hole up to the top on the arm, and thread through and bring down, so that you can see how that goes. I'll bring it in a bit. Not ideal. Okay. Now you then got another eyelet there. You put a little bit of tension on the thread and you just push it in and it will accept it. Now, and I will come in closer for this. You have two thread guides, one there and one there. If either of these are missing, and it's one thing you should check when you're buying one, is that if these are missing, you've had it. They don't come up for sale that often. Some people do stock them, but they're quite hard to get hold of. If they're gone, I wouldn't buy the machine. I'd go and find a different one with them on, because one, they're quite this one particularly is quite tricky to put in, and if that one's gone, sometimes they're broken off and you may have a damaged screw head there. So the thing is, you certainly check the machine along with, does it turn? So the way you do that is you take the thread, take it back and through, then take it the other way, and through there. Okay, your needle has a flat and that points to the left. Okay, right, this is where it always gets tricky. Through there, so it goes, you thread from right to left. Okay, put that through there. Right, your bobbin is a 66 bobbin, and I recommend that you only use original ones or try and get hold of them. Put it in your right hand if you're right-handed, and you pull that so that when you pull it goes, the bobbin goes clockwise. Now I'll just go over to here. Which explains it a little bit better, if you can see it. So when the machine turns, you have a hook there. This is held in place by the bridge, and then the hook goes round there like so. So you get your bobbin, which is going clockwise, pop that in. That's held in place. Now at about 10 o'clock, you have a little slit in the metal which goes against the spring. The thread goes down there, you pull through, and then across another cut in the metal or channel at about 9 o'clock. And you put that just straight across there like so. Right, so in the real machine, check it goes clockwise, drop it in, goes down the first groove or channel at roughly about 10 o'clock, pull round, goes to the 9 o'clock channel and across, and you close. So, turning the machine down, and on a good day that pulls your thread through. Pop your finger in the front and pull straight back. Now I'll just come back out a bit. So pop your material in, and start sewing. And do some fine ones. Take that to the top, lift your presser foot, pull out. Now this one's got a stitch cutter at the back. Just feed it through, cut, put your finger back on there, and you're ready to go again. Now, that's done an okay stitch in my book. I did some earlier just to practice, make sure that things were fine. And there, that's okay, as far as I can tell. It's holding, and there doesn't need to be really any major adjustment on here. Maybe slight adjustment of tension, things like that, but certainly this machine is a fully serviceable and working machine. Now, this is how your machine is. This is, you know, it sews. All you need to do now is clean it, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'll just ditch these cottons out of the way. There we go.